with them on many occasions, the young lords, the Puerto Rican young lords, and MECHA organizations, with the MECHA chapters all over nationwide, Unión del Barrio, and basically every single organization that you can think of, we try our best to organize with them. With gay rights groups, any type of civil rights groups, we try to organize with them because we all have that same need.
Right.
We have the need for freedom from oppression, to break the shackles of oppression that have been bound on us. And we want to, we need to unite with them. So we've made a lot of coalitions with a lot of different people so that we can maybe do an event or two. Sometimes the coalitions eventually break up after the event is over, but the ties still bind us. We're still there.
Yeah, and there's, there's strength in numbers.
Exactly.
So with that, I mean, you've been dealing with some local issues in your community. Can you talk about what has been taking your time at the moment?
Right now?
Yeah.
Right now, we're really focused on a case. It's the Annette Garcia case.
Yes.
She was a mother of 6 children. She was murdered by the Riverside County Sheriff's deputies. She was shot in the back because she had a knife. She was across the street, and she was waving a knife, and she turned around, she started walking away, and he shot her in the back in front of her family, and she died right there in her husband's arms. And she was a Brown Beret. She was recruited and trained by me, and she was my personal friend as well because her husband was my best friend. I've known him for many years. So, it was a very terrible loss for us. And they didn't think that, they didn't probably know that she was a Brown Beret. They just thought, well, we're just going to kill this person because she's just a beaner. We'll get rid of another beaner. But they bit off more than they could chew when they realized that there were Brown Berets. And we did a major protest there in front of their police station, and we confronted them, and they were locking their doors because they didn't want us to go inside of their building. We're planning another protest once the 1-year anniversary comes up since her murder. So that's one of the main issues that we're confronting right now.
Okay, and so they've already been through the. Did the police officer? Did he go through a trial, or what happened after the murder occurred? Was he put on an administrative leave? He
was put on a paid leave. And then after that, I think maybe a couple weeks, he was basically his vacation, right? A couple weeks later, they brought him back and they dismissed all charges against him, and he's still working there. And they don't want to release his name. They don't want to give any information. They do not want to say anything. It took months. I don't even think they released the autopsy report yet. They're trying their best to hold on to all that information because they are scared. They know that it was a murder, and they know they will have to pay dearly for that. And it will become very chaotic because it was a Brown Beret that was killed.
Right.
It's really horrible that it was a mother of 6 children. But now you murdered a member of a political organization, a militant organization at that protests police abuse, and you're going to murder one of their members.
Yeah.
So of course, they know it can turn really chaotic at any given moment, and they don't want to release any of that information.
So what jurisdiction was this in?
The Riverside County.
Riverside County again.
But they're going to take it out of Riverside County, and they're going to prosecute it, possibly on a federal level, in order to bring national attention to this issue. Because this is not something that is just random. This happens to our community throughout all these years. It always happens. They're always killing us off. They're always shooting us. The Riverside County Sheriff's deputies, they've been involved in, I think, 10 murders in the past few years. They've killed Saboba Indians, Morongo Indians.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, one of my close friends, and also he was fiance of my niece. He was murdered as well by the Riverside County Sheriff's deputies. They shot him 13 times in front of the casino in Palm Springs. And they're just continually killing us off, and we need to address all these issues.
So you mentioned that Annette was a Brown Beret. Could you talk about the women in the movement with the Brown Berets? And
the women in our movement, they are the backbone of the movement. If it wasn't for women, we wouldn't be here. We'll just put it that way, right? Okay. The women, they give us the support that we need. They bring the creativity, the compassion that we need. Because men, we have a tendency of being too rough. We're a little rough around the edges. But the women, they show us the way. And as of now, we have a lot of women that are in the leadership position, and we want to train more women to come into the organization, because though it has a really masculine feel because the militancy, women are very welcome in this organization, and we have strict policies against sexual harassment, against abuse towards women, because we do not want our women to be abused or to be harassed in any way.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's really good to hear. So, you talked about, some of the things that's been going on in Riverside. How can people who are interested in hooking up with the Brown Berets, what is your recruiting stance?
Well, you can contact us on our website. It's on nationalbrownberets.com, all one word. And there's a page where it says join us, and you just go ahead and click on that, give us some information, and we'll contact you. And no matter where you're at throughout the nation, we can contact you.
So what is it that you're looking for in a member?
We need people that have fire, that have passion, that want to do something in their community, that are not afraid to speak up. We don't need little, prissy, sissy pretty boys.
Yeah.
We don't need women that want to shake their thingy thing,
Yeah.
and that they think that because they're in Lowrider magazine they've achieved some measure of greatness. We need women that are going to stand up and that want to be united with men as well and say, we're going to join this fight together. So we need those type of people that want to make a stance, and those are the people that the Brown Berets typically recruit.
So, in talking to you earlier, you mentioned that you were from a smaller chapter, and now you're now on a national level.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain to us, what brought you here to the movement, and you have a lot of passion, a lot of fire for this?
I joined when I was 14 years old. It's been 17 years now, approximately. I was in a gang at one time. I used to be in this little gang out in my hometown in Indio.
Okay.
And I wasn't really doing good. I was doing a lot of bad things, put it that way. And the Brown Berets, I learned about them through the Rodney King riots. After all that happened,
yeah.
I had someone that came over and he started telling me about the Chicano movement, about the Brown Berets. And I said, hey, this is cool. I like it. I'm going to join up. I didn't know what it all entailed. I didn't know that this was going to be a massive thing. I didn't know the responsibilities that were going to be put upon me. But the more I studied and learned, the more militant I grew. And I fell in love with this. So it's been 17 years now, and now I'm a commander here in California, and I work on a national level. I go do workshops and things throughout the states and help out people in different states to help them recruit and things like that. But it's been a process from a lowly little gangbanger over here in this one little town to someone who is nationally known. Yeah, it's been great.
Well, that's good to know that you made it. You changed for the better. You're helping people out there, and that's really good to hear.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, in the future, what do you see for future goals and stuff of the Brown Berets?
We want to open up schools.
Really?
We want to open up some charter schools. How about open up some charter schools in different areas? See, there's a lot of problems with our educational system. What's going on in L.A., they want to take over some of the schools and make them private. And you know what's going to happen once they make them private. They're going to basically, kick all the kids out that are not making them enough money. Because the bottom line is that they want to make money. That's why they're in the business. They're not in it to educate our children.
Right.
If the public schools don't give a damn about our children, do you think these private schools are going to give a damn about them? No.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's going to make matters worse. So what we need to do is probably open up our own schools. Maybe go in that direction and start seeking self-determination. And not just say that, in a philosophical way, but actually in a practical way. We really need to start taking steps to better our communities. And if we don't do that, we will die. We will continue to be oppressed and be put underfoot. And even though we might become the majority in this great country, right? Yeah. We will still be oppressed. And that will be a shame. How can the majority of the people in a country be the oppressed ones? And the minority has the power.
Yeah, that's a sad state. So, you mentioned wanting your own schools. Well, we've been dealing with the mascot issue in Carpinteria. We produced a bumper sticker. If we can get this zoomed in on. Cameraman. There we go. So these are, if you're interested in one of the bumper stickers,